Hello, my name is Colin Kackenmeister, and today I'll be conducting a code review. Now, this is a program that I wrote in a previous class of mine. It is written in Java. It is a rescue animal management system, more specifically for dogs and monkeys. Now, this program allows the user to do a few different things. We have the program running right now. You can see the menu here with different options, which allow you to either intake a new dog into the system, intake a new monkey, can reserve one of the animals, print a list of all the dogs, print a list of all the monkeys, and print a list of all animals that are not reserved, as well as exit the application. Now, for example, let's go ahead and intake a new dog. So we'll enter 1 to intake a new dog. We'll set the dog's name to Fred. The dog's breed can be German Shepherd. Let's say it's a male. We'll say the age is 5. Dog's weight is. Now, this is in pounds, and this does take it as a string, but we will just put 25 for the weight. And the dog's acquisition date is, let's say, April 12 and 2019. We'll set the acquisition country to United States. The trading status to, let's say, in service. And then we'll set the reserve status to false. And the service country is United States. All right, and then we get the confirmation that Fred was added to the list. This would be very similar for the monkey with slightly different attributes. And now, just to make sure that this dog has been added to the list successfully, we'll go ahead and print the list of all the dogs. Now we can see Fred that we just created is there. The other options, as some of these animals are hard coded in for testing purposes, we can see that we have 3 dogs and 3 monkeys. Similarly, for printing a list of all the monkeys, we can see that they show up in the list. Now, the structure of this code is written well. It conforms to standard coding practices. I have separation with classes. As we can see, rescue animal is the main class. It contains most of the general attributes that are applicable to both dogs and monkeys. Then we have a more specific dog class that extends from the rescue animal class. And it only contains 2 different attributes that are applicable to dogs, whereas monkey is very similar, but has other attributes such as tail length and body length and species instead of breed, for example. The structure of this program is written well. We can see that we have a main menu loop that will continue to loop until this boolean is changed in the case of hitting Q, which will exit the application. There is also a default so that if there is an invalid menu selection, that it will loop back up to the top and let you choose a different menu selection. So we can go ahead and show that here. Let's say I hit T, it'll say invalid menu selection and will bring us back to the menu again to try again. The main way that this code works is that each animal, once it's input, or these test cases here that are hard coded, They are stored in an array. While this solution does work for this specific program, I don't think it is a great solution, uh, especially once you have a very large number of animals in the system, as it has to iterate through the entire list to find a specific dog or a specific monkey. As well as the application currently doesn't allow you to search for a specific animal, it just allows you to intake new animals or print in a list of all of the animals. Um, the structure is written well, it's documented well. The problem is I did not document too much on these class files, just some basic constructor and instance variables, an accessor method and a mutator method, which I think this could benefit from some better documentation. But altogether, the structure is written well, indentation is done correctly, everything is spaced correctly. While this program does not contain any issues such as meaningful names or fixing magic numbers, as everything in here is coded in as a string. It also contains proper documentation for basically everything. But one issue that does happen with these string types is when inputting a new dog or monkey into the system and asking for its reserve status, such as right here, true or false. If you input anything other than true or false, the program will crash because it's trying to input a string into a boolean. So I will need to make a check for that. Some things that could be improved. We see here that both of these methods to intake a new dog and intake a new monkey could be combined essentially so that it's less redundant, and then have, whether or not it's a dog or a monkey in one section of code instead of having basically the same thing for both of them. The one of the issues with just a personal issue of mine is I'm not a huge fan of Java. I think this code could be written a lot more concisely and clearly, easier to read in another language, such as Python. Another issue with this code is that everything is done in strings, which is fairly basic and it's not as applicable for certain attributes such as weight or age. And that could cause other errors as I decide to expand on this project, in terms of searching for specific attributes, as they would just be matching strings. The loops in this program do work well and they are nested correctly. For instance, a little bit lower down here, where we're checking if one of these animals in the list, for example, right here, where we print all the animals, There is a Boolean setup to let you know that if the animal isn't found or there is no animals in the list, it will tell you that. But we can see here in each loop, these are nested correctly. So the structure is done well, but I think it could benefit from being written in another language, such as Python. I think for enhancement, I will decide to write this in another language in Python. I think it will demonstrate my knowledge of syntax in other languages, as well as continuing with best coding practices and show that I can do that in multiple languages. It will also show that I know how to structure um, classes and inheritance in other languages as well. It could benefit from some more error handling. For example, you can basically input anything you want into any of these fields and you won't get an error message. Uh, it does have some errors as well. Um, for instance, if I want to reserve an animal, if I want to search for a specific dog or monkey, let's go with dog. In service countries, United States, it will just automatically reserve. For example, let's go ahead and print the list of dogs again. Oh, my mistake. That was incorrect. Let's go ahead and just run this. Or we'll go ahead and reserve another dog. Let's say United States again. Or, excuse me. That is at least some error handling. Whereas if I input a country, it won't. It'll loop back up again and ask you to search for a dog or a monkey again. So I'll go with dog, United States again. And now it's just reserved the next dog in the list. And now we go ahead and print the list of all dogs. We can see that the dog that we created earlier is also in the United States, and it was false. It defaults to reserving just the top animal in the list, and then when we went ahead and reserved the second dog in the United States, it defaults to the second one in the list. So there is some issues with that. It doesn't specify the name or any of the other attributes to which animal to reserve. So that could definitely be improved. So yeah, I need to fix a little bit of the error handling in this. In terms of algorithms and data structure, again, we said that this is stored in an array. As we can see up here in an array list for each. The issues with that is when I start to add in a large number of animals, it won't necessarily be as efficient as using another structure. For example, in Java, I could use a hash map where once this is converted to Python, I'd like to use a dictionary. It should allow me to look up animals quicker, which is also another functionality that needs to be added to this program. It's the ability to search for a specific animal, as well as search for various attributes. Say I want to search for all dogs that are in the United States, or male dogs that weigh a certain amount or just specific names of dogs. And that will also benefit from a different uh, data type structure by using a dictionary in Python, or indexes could also be used. So I'd like to add some more search capabilities, um, and other filtering capabilities. There's also, as we talked about, limited error handling, which could also be improved, um, as well as being able to search for multiple criteria. And I think this will demonstrate skills of mine in data structure selection by using dictionaries instead of just simple string matching from an array list, as well as other algorithms and filtering logic, as well as more algorithmic complexity. Um, by utilizing other methods instead of searching through each array list each time you want to search for an animal. Um, I could speed things up by implementing other search criteria that will pull up things more frequently searched for quickly. So that is my plan for the enhancement for algorithms and data structure. And I think, excuse me, for the first enhancement, for translating this into Python, it aligns with some of the course outcomes, such as designing and evaluating computing solutions that solve a given problem using algorithmic principles and computer science practices and standards appropriate to its solution, while maintaining or managing the trade-offs involved in design choices, as well as demonstrating an ability to use well-founded and innovative techniques, skills, and tools in computing practices for the purpose of implementing computer solutions that deliver value and accomplish industry-specific goals. I think these course outcomes also align with my second enhancement, um, for algorithms and data structures. And finally, for the third area, everything is currently only stored in memory, which is not efficient. So every time you exit the program, any new monkeys or dogs that you've added get deleted, and it's not practical. I think for this area of enhancement, I would like to implement an actual database using MongoDB. And I think creating an interface, as I have in a previous class and a full stack class, it was a mean stack class, Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node, and create a database that holds all of these animals in it and just is a more user friendly experience. Because currently everything is done through this terminal, and anyone in particular can add a monkey, add a dog. There's also no option to remove any animals from the list. So I think creating a database will just be more user friendly, but also be more secure, um, as none of these animals will just disappear. As well as, if I create like a single admin page, in the back end of my program, then I can allow just administrators to be the only ones that are able to add or remove different records of these animals. Because currently I could come in here as a random user and add anything I want to any of these dogs or monkeys and write bogus fields, and it will be input. So I think that is a great area of enhancement to do, and I will utilize that in this program. Um, I think it'll demonstrate skills such as secure coding practices, um, my knowledge of different frameworks as well as database design in general. And I think this will align with the course outcomes of being able to demonstrate an ability to use well-founded innovative techniques, skills, and tools in computing practices for the purpose of implementing computer solutions that deliver value and accomplish industry-specific goals, as well as develop a security mindset that anticipates adversarial and exploits in software architecture and designs to expose potential vulnerabilities, mitigate design flaws, and ensure privacy and enhance security of data and resources. So yeah, all in all, that is the program. Um, it's console based. The structure is written well. It could use some changes to make it more concise and eliminate some uh, redundancy. I think using an array list is not applicable for this type of program, and that it should be written with some more advanced algorithmic and more advanced data structures to help things like looking up frequently searched things quickly when you're in a large database of animals. It also needs more advanced search criteria. You currently can't search for anything. Um, I'd like to be able to add the ability to search for multiple criteria, some partial matching as well. Um, and finally, for a database, uh, having everything stored in memory is just not an efficient solution. And it's not a very user friendly experience. And I think these enhancements will show my growth in the computer science field and what I'm capable of doing now, whereas this was written probably 2 years ago. I'd also like to point out that through the use of all of my contextual in-code comments, they're easily readable and understandable. Um, I think this fosters collaboration, which would employ strategies for building collaborative environments that enable diverse audiences to support organizational decision making in the field of computer science. Also, by identifying areas where this code could be improved in the enhancements, it does support decision making for software design stakeholders. And I think this also does encompass the second course outcome as well, which is design, develop, and deliver professional quality oral, written, and visual communications that are coherent, technically sound, and appropriately adapted to specific audiences and contexts. So yeah, thank you for listening to my code review, and I will show my enhancements when they're complete and finished, and I look forward to implementing them. Thank you.